Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kirby's Epic Yarn playthrough. Yep, I'm going back to playthrough because I don't bloody know anymore. They're practically the same thing. But either way, we are going to be finishing off Waterland today. So our first stop is that wonderful level right down there. Deep Dive Deep. Because, you know, they've got to go with all of the alliteration, but I don't know why they went with Deep Dive Deep, because that just sounds a bit weird, but I'll accept it, because it's got a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful little piece of music. Basically, think of your aquatic ambiances, and you've pretty much got the gist of what's going on. Now, if I recall correctly, we are going... Well, we've already been introduced to one new enemy today. But we are also going to be introduced to another one. So this thing that is swimming around, I believe, is called an Amprey. Which only actually ever appear in Deep Dive Deep. So they don't really get used a whole lot. But, the Amprey's name is a portmanteau of Ampere, which is the unit for electrical current, and Lamprey, which is an eel-esque fish, so they are essentially electric eels. You also have these blighters, which are danglerfish, who also only appear in Deep Dive Deep. These guys aren't particularly difficult, but then we have this gigantic monster of a danglerfish, and he is quite dangerous. I'm pretty sure if he gets you, well, obviously if he gets you, you're going to lose quite a few beads. So you just want to be swimming like there is no tomorrow. There are, I believe, a grand total of 3 of these blighters throughout the level, so you just got to make sure to keep killing them. But we get the dolphin back! Yay! So we get to swim through everything a little bit more quickly. And just generally collect so many beads. If there's one thing this game probably needed to do more than anything else, it was probably just needed to be a little bit more balanced in where it gave you loads of beads. Because pretty much whenever you get a Metamortex transformation, that's when you are going to get the majority of your beads in any given stage. No ifs, no buts, no coconuts. It's pretty much always the same. Which, I mean, I suppose is fine, because it means that you're never... Well, you're not necessarily going to be locked out of getting enough beads for any given level, because they give you more than enough in these particular sections, but it's just like a little bit of maybe balance might have been appreciated. I don't know. Either way, that danglerfish is doing a very terrible job of hiding, so let's just swim like there is no tomorrow. And thankfully, because we have the dolphin, we have much better manoeuvrability through this section. And, okay, we've got another one. They really do just like to hammer this home, don't they? But there we go! The level is done and dusted. Not too difficult in the grand scheme of things. But quite fun all the same. And yes! We got the 5 stars! Hell yes! And that covers all of the main levels in Waterland. So now, we get to go into the boss battle! Which is going to be a lot of fun, I can tell. Aw, look at the little octopus. It's so adorable. I mean, that's basically everything in this game, just adorable, adorable, adorable. So, let's go take on Capamari. Obviously, the name's a pun because Cap and Calamari. Because it's a squid. Because yay, puns! So the way you... well, this guy's got 2 phases. The first phase, you have got to throw some tentacles at him to get some beads. Although you only have so many hits on the guy before he won't give you any more beads. And then you've got to unravel his cap. Because we can't allow him to have such fancy headwear. The issue you've got is that the tentacles will constantly chase after you, so you have got to swim around and try and avoid them. So it can be a little bit fraught, but I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Because even if you do get hit, you should probably have enough time to go and rescue all of those poor lost beads. Now, apparently, Capamari's English name was intended to be Styleocto, but it was never actually used in the game. And also, it's mentioned on the Kirby Wiki that Capamari's first form resembles the enemy Squishy, while its second form, which you are going to be seeing very shortly, resembles Flotso, an enemy that replaces Squishy in the extra mode of Kirby's Dream Land and Kirby Superstar Ultra's Revenge of the King minigame. And also there's the whole point that Capamari's theme is slightly similar to the Jaws theme. But it's not ridiculously so. Now, I have to say, I do really like this boss fight. It's got the same frustrations if you do spend a lot of time waiting around for Capamari to do things, to be able to react to them. But it's just a nice, fun boss battle with pretty much every move it does you can counteract, which is very helpful. So like here, you've got to pick up the small little Capamaris, I'm assuming is what they are called, and then fling it back at him. Oh, okay, octopees, that's what they're called, because they're small like peas. Ha! Yeah, it's much more engaging than I would say Squishini was. Because the issue with Squishini was that there were certain times where you just could not hurt the damn guy. And also you're given far more beads than necessary, unlike Fangora, who was just very stingy. So I do really like this fight. Although I don't like it when you do stupid things like that and aim entirely at the wrong thing. Because it does just make the boss fight go on a little bit longer than you really intend it to last. And then, you know, the whole getting hit thing, it's just not fun. But either way, one more hit should just about do it. And we've got a piece of the magic yarn! Hell yes! I wonder what joy awaits us now.
We did it! We got a piece of the magic yarn. The magic yarn shimmered and spiraled and swirled high into the sky. The yarn weaved its way into the fabric of the kingdom and stitched two pieces of patchland together. Back in Dreamland, it was total chaos over at Castle DDD. What is going on here? It appeared that Yin Yarn's Waddle Dee imposters had captured all of the real Waddle Dees. You can't be mean to my Waddle Dees. Only I can be mean to my Waddle Dees. That was when Yin Yarn's troops decided to show King DDD who was boss. Hey, that tickles. Okay, that hurts. Stop, I give up. And in no time they had King DDD wrapped up like a birthday present. Yeah. Only one more step and Dreamland will be mine. What an honor it is to have a king serving me. Yin Yarn's sock began to glow. And then it sucked King DDD right inside. Yeah. Dreamland will be mine. Not sure what I'll do with it, but I'll figure something out. Could no one stop Yin Yarn from tearing apart the very fabric of Dreamland?
Well, I'm sure Kirby will have something to say about it when he eventually gets back. But in the meantime, we have 2 bonus levels to try and complete. One of which is unnecessarily mean. And I believe we're going to be facing it right now. Oh. There it is. Boom Boatyard. Oh god. This level is difficult. Do not expect to be getting a gold rank and all the collectibles in one fell swoop. It's unlikely to happen, because it requires you to play very differently. So, first bit of difficulty, this level is an auto-scroller. Second bit of difficulty, you're constantly being bombarded by these bombs, which will destroy the platforms behind you, or above you, or below you. So it's very easy to get screwed over. If you want to get all of the collectibles, you need to be on pretty much on the top path for the entirety of the level. And that is not easy. I do wish that the scroll was... Part of me wishes the scroll was a little bit quicker, but also part of me wishes the scroll was a little bit slower, because it means that you would have more time to be able to react to things. For example, you frequently end up in situations where you need to be jumping or attacking an enemy that's off screen, because obviously the screen's not scrolled far enough to get it, but you need to be able to destroy that enemy to be able to progress, or jump on top of those blocks, but the game doesn't really show you until it's a little bit too late to be able to react efficiently. And it gets even worse because we're going to get to some rather big boats, and there are collectibles right up at the top. So you've got to do a frantic climb to the top of the boat before anything else can happen. And generally this means that you are running away from where most of the beads are, because I'm pretty sure that the majority of the beads in this level are located on the bottom path. So, yeah. Like that section there, those blocks house quite a few beads, and you're going to want them to be able to get that gold rank. But obviously you can't get those beads if you're going for the collectibles. So yeah, anybody who says Kirby's Epic Yarn is not challenging, just point them towards this level as a good example of there is challenge in Epic Yarn. Because I had to do this level numerous times to try and get everything. It was a very frustrating time. Because it was just like, oh, come on! Stop doing this to me, game! I want to do well here! But it just was not to be, unfortunately. So, oh well. I mean, things look like they're going pretty gosh darn okay right now, but it's not going to last. Also, that poor mariner went down with his ship. The poor sod. And there we have another instance where there are loads of beads on the bottom path. But also I got hit, which was just like, no! Because I'm pretty sure that getting hit there has just screwed me over from standing any chance of getting that gold rank. Because at the end of the level, we have a mini-boss of sorts. Basically, grab the bombs, or missiles, or whatever the hell you want to call them, and fling them back. Just don't do what I did and get hit and send your crystal stars flying off the side of the map. Because, yeah, I am not going to be able to pick that thing back up. Which is just like, no! I believe that technically, if you have a silver rank, the beads you get from that final boss might be enough to shunt you up to a gold rank. So, I mean, it is technically possible if you don't get hit throughout the level, but it's so easy to get hit that you just end up being like, oh, for God's sake. So, that's our pretty much first silver medal, I think, of Epic Yarn, but I am not going to let that stand. I want entirely gold ranks throughout this playthrough, and that's what I'm going to get. And once that is all done, we can head to Fossil Reef. So, in we go, time to do a mass bead collection. And you can see an alternate path through Boomboat Yard that is much more efficient when it comes to collecting beads. Now, seeing as we are, replaying the level, I thought it'd be a good time to bust out the Iwata Asks for Kirby's Epic Yarn, because obviously back when Mr. Iwata was alive, he constantly did interviews with the developers of the games to give gamers a closer insight into where everything came from and the underlying inspirations for things, which was just absolutely wonderful. And I mean, obviously dev diaries and so on are something that I will always look to quite fondly, because they're just very, very helpful when it comes to understanding the process behind making a game. So, basically, Epic Yarn wasn't originally intended to be a Kirby game. I don't know whether I have already mentioned this piece of information. So, basically, they started completely from scratch, and the game was called Fluff's Epic Yarn. Fluff obviously then became Prince Fluff in Kirby's Epic Yarn, and it was adorable. So, a world of yarn was the setting for the game from the very start. And the person who came up with that idea was Madoka Yamauchi, the director of Wario Land Shake It. He is the planning section manager of Goodfield, at least he was at the time. And one day he came to Ibisu, that being Etsunobu Ibisu, who was the producer on the game. And just one day he came, so Yamauchi came to Ibisu with that idea, and when Ibisu asked how he came up with it, he said it just sort of came to him, so it was just sort of, yeah, this is a thing. So they decided to go with it. Then Itsushi Kono, who was the designer, started to try and develop the visuals for the project. Obviously the images in a proposal don't move, so what he and a guy called Tsukawaki, who's the head of the design department, did was that they bought a bunch of cloth and took pictures of it to use, and actually used yarn and just literally sat there trying different things out and tossing around ideas. So they had craft materials all across the desk. So it didn't really look like they were working on a video game at all. And that proposal pretty much, I think, got the game made, because they presented it to Nintendo, and because it had such wonderful visual impacts, they just went with it. Apparently the prototype for the game actually only took 3 months to make, and it went really smoothly up to that point anyway. But then things got a little bit more complicated. But that is something that we will go further into in future parts, because we finished Boom Boatyard with a gold rank. Annoyingly, I didn't get that final bit of the wheel, but who cares? We still got the gold rank, and that's the important thing. And so, we get to have a go with the final optional bonus level for Waterland, Fossil Reef. Which should be rather fun if I recall correctly. Oh, and indeed it is! Because we get a really, well, we get the Dolphin Metamortex transformation. And we are, I mean, essentially Super Mario Galaxying through floating bubbles of water, and it's just great fun. I mean, any opportunity to play as the dolphin is always good in my books. Because it's just so satisfying. I mean, it's half the reason that the Zora Mask, I think, was so popular in Majora's Mask. Controls were maybe not quite so excellent in, say, Majora's Mask 3D, but it was still great fun because you sort of felt like a dolphin, and that was just dead cool. Like, video games, mainly in a 3D space, have always sort of struggled with swimming mechanics. Because they're either too sluggish or too finicky, and that's obviously a very difficult balance to get right, because you want to make it feel like swimming has a different type of weight to running. So you've got to try and do different things. But when you start trying to do that in a 3D space, it begins to get a little bit more complicated. At least with 2D games, you're essentially only... well, you are only dealing with that one dimension. So you're just moving left and right and up and down. So that it's not quite so complicated. And in terms of physics, I'm pretty sure it's also a lot easier to program. But I would say that these are certainly some of the better 2D swimming controls that I have ever done, because as much as, like, the Mario swimming is fine, the fact that you are generally in a very dangerous spot, no matter... well, unless you have, like, a fire flower or something. And also the fact that you just don't have that much manoeuvrability. It does just make those water levels a little bit of a pain. But pretty much we are coming to the end of this level. See, I told you we were going to beat Waterland in this part. It's only taken like another half hour or so, but it was easily doable, and we are also definitely going to be able to get the gold rank in this particular level in one fell swoop, because they give you way more beads than you could ever actually hope for. And because you're just swimming through everything, there's no bottomless pits to worry about. At least I don't think there are anyway. And it's just wonderfully sweet. But there we go. Waterland is done and dusted. Hell yes. And now we get another wonderful Kirby dance. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Because, I mean, whenever I hear that, I just want to sort of hum along. I will never not be in love with the Kirby dance at the end of a level. It's just something that you have to have, otherwise it's not the end of a Kirby level. But there we go, let's have a look. Oh, it's beautiful. With that done, let's head on to Snowland. Yay!